Channel and the LPGA Tour proudly present the season-long race to the CME Globe. From Mexico City, it's final round coverage of the Lorena Ochoa Invitational presented by Climax. 7,400 feet above sea level. Dramatic setting here in the hillsides and the mountains that surround the main center, about 13 miles from where we are. Old world architecture as they celebrate a holiday weekend there and over here at Club de Golf Mexico. Fans making their way out here to check out the final round of the 7th edition of this event. Could be a great story by the end of the day for golf fans too. Family affair for the tournament host, and a beautiful trophy maybe handed out to one Christina Kim for the first time in 9 years. Check that out for the next couple of hours here under sunny skies, blue skies, sunshine, best day of the week. And it hasn't rained, even though they've been calling for it all week long. Haven't felt any wind throughout the week either. Perfect scoring conditions once again. Terry Gannon, along with the Hall of Famer Judy Rankin. Shen Feng, 4-time winner out on tour, including a major championship. Started the day 5 off the lead, playing in the final group, getting off to a very good start.
Nice high shot up over the trees.
Lead to an eagle putt at the par 5 second, got it to 11 under. So Christina Kim trying to match that with this eagle putt. She's hardly missed this week. It seems been very good on the greens.
Well, her touch has just been amazing. Perfect touch right there. It's hard to believe at that speed the ball didn't fall.
Yeah, birdie to get her to 15 under par. However, she'd come to the last hole of the front 9. That's a par putt. Left it short at the par 4, pitched it there, and then that miss. First time we've really seen that. She played very well on the back 9 throughout the week, though. Had to make a bogey on the back 9 and 8 under overall. So 14 under at this point and a 3-shot lead. Others in the mix, though, including the top-ranked player and trying to become player of the year, chasing Stacey Lewis. Inby Park from the fairway at 10.
10th hole, par 4. Nothing to it.
Third birdie of the day to get her to double figures at 10 under par. Brittany Lincecum, this at the par 5, 11th, 9 under at this point. All above her feet. Tough stance there. You know it's going to come left a little bit.
Short right of the green. She took a go at the green and the ball got caught up in that rough. But what a beautiful little pitch. Her
4th birdie of the day to get it to 10 under. But then trying to bounce back after the bogey. Christina Kim, lengthy birdie putt. At 10. What a way to start the second 9 and trying to hold the lead. 2005, the second over just 2 wins out on the LPGA Tour. 3-time Solheim Cup player, though, for the United States. Today could be the day when she gets back to that level. 4-shot lead over Shen Feng. There's Park. If you're in gold numbers once again, you're in the top 9 in the CME race, and you can win the $1 million next week in Naples. The green numbers mean you're in the field of 72 at the CME Tour Championship. Michelle Wie, 1 under today and 4 under overall. Suzanne Pedersen had the 66 on the second day to get somewhere near the lead, but just 1 under overall through the 4 days. And Stacey Lewis has really struggled this week. 3 over today and 3 over for the tournament. Judy and I here in the booth, along with Tom Abbott, Jerry Foltz, and Karen Stupples out on the golf course on a beautiful day. Temperature in the low 70s here in the capital city. Out to the 11th. Tom.
Thank you, Terry. Christina Kim for a birdie.
Wasn't totally pleased with her shot in at the par 5. Didn't give herself the best of opportunities.
Yeah, we'll go ahead to number 12.
Inby Park, right in the middle of the fairway for her second.
Using a 9-iron from 151 yards. So on a really good line, might have to get up just a bit to carry the bunker.
It just took that extra hop. Tough to judge on these greens. Very true golf course, but that's the one unknown. How the ball's going to react once it hits. To 11.
Shen Feng for a birdie to get to 12 under par and within 3 of the lead.
Played the hole aggressively, went forward in 2 from the front bunker to there, and nice.
It's getting interesting here in Mexico City.
Well, Tom, here in the booth at 18, we welcome you to this final round of the Lorena Ochoa Invitational. It really could be some story for Christina Kim, and maybe the culmination of what has been a long and troublesome journey. Go back to 2010, Judy, when she had the back injury and her game suffered. She's been very open talking about the depression she's gone through, and even at times contemplating suicide. She's back now. It's 9 years since her last win, and she has a chance. It would be emotional at the end of the day, but to win for the first time since 05.
Yeah, and it's not just the depression, although that was the most serious part of what has gone on with Christina, but her golf game went up and down. Financially, she fell into some tough times, and all of that, I suppose, was part of the depression. But physically, not so great for a little bit of time. She's really done quite the job to recover and to be the person that she is today, and she's had a lot of friends out here that have helped her to do that. One of them, actually, one of her very close friends out here is Michelle Wee, and they have talked each other through a lot of things.
How do you keep it all together today with all those emotions, those thoughts? She has talked about just keeping in her mind that this is a game, that it's not life. It's easier said than done the final round when you're trying to win.
Well, there was a great quote from her in the press room yesterday, and it was, I've learned that golf is not who I am, it's what I do. And so when you can accept it that way, I think you can do everything a little bit better. And, you know, we have seen her this week. We have seen her hit a poor shot very rarely, but when she has hit that poor shot, she has continued to smile. That may be a mental problem in itself, but you know what? It works in the game of golf. We have seen it so much in recent years with all kinds of players, this positive attitude.
You can't tell based on her reaction this week whether it's a good shot or not a very good shot. Here she is, par the first 3 days at the 12th, 407, 15 under par in the leader by 3.
Ideally here, center of the fairway, it will bounce a little left with the camber of the fairway. I can tell you, Judy, watching her walk down the 10th fairway after the bogey at 9, it was noticeably slower. Her head was down a little bit. You can only speculate as to whether it's nerves or perhaps just sheer fatigue after this being her 7th week in a row in 6 different countries. But I can tell you one thing, she's hitting a lot of great shots and she's extremely focused.
When her golf swing is as balanced as that swing just was, Christina's going to hit the ball well because she's totally a field player, but the mechanics in her golf swing are good.
Trying to become the second wire-to-wire winner in the last 3 events on the LPGA Tour. Up ahead on the green and just off of it for birdie, Altajara Munoz. Big week for her, big day for her.
Yes, Arthur could not get to the green in 2. She hit it left off the tee and just had to punch out to the front.
Coming off a bounce-back birdie at the 11th after the bogey at 10. Couple of birdies and a bogey. Top 4 finish or better. She moves into the top 9 in the CME Globe race and will have a chance to win the $1 million. Christina Kim trying to win for the first time in 9 years. Up by 3, playing the back 9 on Sunday here at the Lorena Ochoa Invitational. Out to 12 a moment ago in the park for par.
Yeah, she chose to putt it from the back fringe to there. Oh, and just slugged that one in.
Barely got it going, and it barely stayed in the right edge. Meanwhile, live look at Chen Feng back in the fairway at 12.
A little bit of a downhill line, not too bad. 172 yards to the hole. This is a 7-iron. Golf swing that just looks like it should produce straight shot after straight shot after straight shot. That's right where she aimed it, a little right of the hole.
She won't go away, trying to apply some pressure on the tournament leader. And birdie at 11 to get her back to 12 under. Up to 18, Margarita Ramos from right here in Mexico City. This for birdie. 3 players from Mexico in the same group. Ramos, the 24-year-old at the University of Arizona product, 72 in the final round.
That is a stroke of very good luck for the Mexican fans to see those 3 players all in the same group. Gabby Lopez, the amateur, Alejandro
Yaneza, one we've seen play throughout the year, a number of events, 14 events throughout the season to 13.
They had a good gallery with that group today. It was quite boisterous out there. Brenda Lincecum for a birdie. Brittany with an outside chance of victory here, but needs to make some putts, maybe all the birdie putts coming down the stretch. Currently 6 behind. Back one to the 12th.
Tournament leader in the fairway here, Christina Kim getting set.
Also a little bit of a downhill lie here, 163 yards the hole, going with 8 iron. If you fly it past the first third of this green, typically it bounces very big.
Lost a little balance on the follow-through.
Yeah, there's one of the balance issues, but it's not going to hurt her right there.
And on the good shots, the reaction's not really telling anything either. There are times when she reacts as if it's a very poor shot. Another chance at birdie. Alejandra Yaneza, also one of the locals here. This for birdie.
Quick putt from the back of the green. Just touched it.
All right, so a sense of drama for the home crowd. 2 putts, both going in. Yaneza, Pac-10 Conference honorable mention back in 2008. It was the Pac-10 back then when she was a star at the University of Arizona. Second year on the LPGA Tour. Calm day here for the final round, as it's been the last 4 days, as a matter of fact. Christina Kim, another opportunity for birdie at 12. Shen Feng trying to stay right with her. Lydia Ko, recently named the Rolex Rookie of the Year. Last couple of days, she hadn't played her best. She's at 4 under. Lexi Thompson, Pressel, Stanford all grouped together. Austin Ernst, the winner this season. And Stacey Lewis. She came in feeling under the weather, and that's the way she's played this week. Just hadn't been able to get anything going. Suzanne Pedersen, good second round for her, but has struggled the last day and a half. This for birdie at 14. Pedersen along with Lexi Thompson and Michelle Wee in the same group. All right, the third. Is this going to go in too? Gabby Lopez. Yep. The cheer goes up, but it's not quite the same cheer. That was for par. The amateur, you see that ribbon around her right ankle. Her maternal grandmother just passed away, and she's worn that in remembrance of her, the 21-year-old who's a junior, University of Arkansas.
Just imagine what Lorena Ochoa means to these players.
Now, players from around the globe have talked about growing up watching Lorena Ochoa, idolizing her, but to players in this country, it's even beyond that.
I met Alejandro's father earlier today visiting with Lorena, and he was trying to explain to Lorena what Alejandro was having trouble with, and he gave us the international signal for hook. And we were all three laughing that you didn't have to know the language to know what that was.
And you want to stay a little bit right foot, mate. Yeah, just a choke one, mate.
Inby Park and Brad Beecher at the 13th hole.
She is using a 9-iron here. Has a fantastic lie in this first cut. The ball really sits up on this grass. Sounded a little high on the face.
Big bounce there, Karen. Came off the sprinkler head, and now some work to do for Inby Park. Back to number 12.
Christina Kim for birdie.
Downhiller here that should slide a little bit to the right. Advantage for Shen Feng, the pursuer. Hers is uphill and a much easier putt.
Talked yesterday a little bit about her approach on the greens this week, and trying to dive the ball into the hole instead of firmly get it to the back of the cup.
Well, and when you have greens that invariably, as straight as a putt looks, there are very few straight putts. When your speed is perfect, when the ball can go in from any side of the hole, I like it.
Lincecum off the tee at 14, the par 3 playing 179.
Back at the 13th hole, Azahara Munoz.
Haven't had any signal as to the club, but she has 133 yards from the ideal spot on the fairway. This one drifting a little to the right and catching a bit of a gust of wind.
Wow, that was a mistake there for Munoz. It almost pitched long of the green. I think it pitched right on the back. There you go. There's a great reaction.
Well, I mean, we've had absolutely zero wind here all week, and all of a sudden, we just caught a little gust.
Here at 12, Shen Feng for birdie.
Almost the identical putt. She just holed at 11. Uphill, a little movement left.
To get within 2. There it is. It does get there. 4 birdies and a bogey today for Shen Feng, and she's at 13 under par. So while Christina Kim kind of ran away from everybody yesterday, it's not happening today, yet at least.
15th hole, Jenny Shin with her third, taking the flag out. Obviously fancies it, and why not? The Jenny Shin to 6 under par, looking for her 6th top 10 finish of the year. She's 8th on her own at the moment. Christina Kim just 2 ahead of Shen Feng. Exciting finish here at the Lorena Ochoa Invitational. We're in Mexico City. Back-to-back birdies for Shen Feng, only 2 behind now on the tee at the 13th.
With that little bit of breeze helping here. Looked like a lofted fairway wood, likely a 5 wood, right down the middle.
But in the truth, if your resume says that you're a great wind player, this wasn't a good week for you.
No.
Now up at the green, Azahara Munoz with her third.
Is off the upslope, and she's got plenty of green to work, but this came out a little lower than I think she expected. Great effort though.
Munoz talking about how her putter let her down yesterday. She felt that it may have been something in her stroke. Certainly the difference maker for Munoz this week. Christina Kim now on the tee.
And she watched that for all of about a second. Knew it was going to be just fine, less than her the fairway.
Her dad said to her about that waggle that she's developed since the Rico Women's British Open. I don't care if you shoot 90, just pull the trigger.
Well, you know, it's almost become an exaggerated waggle. It's not sort of the way it was, where it would be take it back 11 times before she could actually pull the trigger. Some interesting numbers right here.
Yes, Inbee Park trying to tie Stacey Lewis for the Rolex Player of the Year. If Inbee can finish second, she's currently 3 shots back of Shen Feng, then we would have 2 players tied at the top in the Rolex Player of the Year race heading to the final event of the year. At the moment, it looks like, as you saw from that graphic, Inbee's going to be slightly behind Stacey Lewis heading to the first tee in Naples on Thursday. Inbee for a birdie, though.
This is actually for a par. She hit it over the back of the green, chipped up to here. Has gone back to the old style putter that she used all last year. Switched to this one in the middle of the tournament in Korea.
So that is going to be a bogey, as you say, Karen. Inbee at the moment looking unlikely to be able to tie Stacey Lewis. We've got a couple of races going on. Azahara Munoz is trying to finish in the top 4, which would get her into the top 9 in the CME Race to the Globe. That would give her a chance to win the $1 million next week. Inbee Park's trying to tie Stacey Lewis in the Player of the Year, and they're all trying to win the golf tournament. You got that, Karen?
Yes, it went in one ear and out the other ear. It's so hard to keep track of everything.
Karen, I know you've been out with her more than just today. And,
Yeah.
you know, I see her shaking her head and all this stuff. And I have to tell you, after watching her play this week, she has reason to shake her head. She is so close to playing great.
And you have to think that it's just around the corner for her as well, Judy. But she's made a couple of good ones of this length today already. Well, I think that was a good stroke. It certainly was better than the stroke she made on them yesterday. Yesterday she was kind of holding on to the putter face and not really releasing it. At least that one she kind of hit the line that she was after.
Meanwhile, on the green at 14, Paula Creamer, lengthy birdie putt, 5 under overall for Creamer. Struggled yesterday after 65 on day 2. She was right there, just off the lead.
She's done a lot of that this week. She's had the longish putt and left herself a lot of work.
13.
Paul Patlam trying to save her par. We have 3 bogeys here.
Yeah, Paul Long hit it in the bunker short, but she has been a very good bunker player this week.
Paul Patlam, the only player in the field without a 3-putt. That's, of course, an up and down. So she remains at 9 under. 17th hole, the par 5. Stacey Lewis has this for a birdie. Been a disappointing week for Stacey Lewis, a disappointing day. She's 3 over, currently tied for 28th. I wonder if, in hindsight, it may have been better to not play this week if she wasn't feeling well, but that's not her personality, is it?
No, she spent one day in Houston in between coming from Japan just to try to feel a little bit better, saw the doctor, but I just don't think she was ever up to speed.
Splitting the fairway here at the 13th is Shen Feng.
Just a few inches in front of the 150 marker. She didn't even ask for a ruling, just determined that this is not in the area of her stance or intended swing path. 157 yards, signal was 8 iron. It'll be a good one.
Safely in the middle of the green.
I've talked to her teacher, Gary Gilchrist, on numerous occasions over the years, and he said one thing Shen likes is she likes it to be very simple. She does not want her swing or the golf game to be complicated.
Here at 14, Brittany Lynch will come at 9 under, trying to get to 10. Brittany playing along with Paula Creamer and Lydia Ko. So the tap in keeps her in a share of 3rd. Struggle by Atahara Munoz. Got to be careful. She drops to a tie for 6th place right now. And remember, she's got to finish 4th or better.
You like it?
Christina Kim now on the fairway at the 13th.
141 yards, same distance she had in at 11. This also a pitching wedge. That Zephyr that was blowing at a half mile an hour is now completely still again, as it's been all week. Solid contact yet again, very high.
Oh, it's going to be absolutely fine. Not sure what she was worried about there. Good chance for a birdie for Christina Kim. Trying to win.
Back on the tee at 14, Atahara Munoz now 8 under.
She's using a 5-iron, Terry. Seems like a lot of club.
Share of 6th place up ahead. Paula Creamer did make her par. Yep, and you're right, Karen. Too much. And then some.
And that's 2 holes in a row, 3 holes in a row maybe.
Shen Feng for a birdie.
Gonna go a little right early, as it did. A little more than she planned, not a bad effort, but that does get away just past the hole.
And it gives Christina Kim a chance to get back to 3 in front. That would have been for 3 birdies in a row for the Chinese player. Let's go to the 16th.
Jenny Shin just off the green here for birdie at 16. Oh, great speed. Speaking of dying it in the hole, you saw that green number, or the white number in the green, 21 overall on the CME list. So right in the thick of things. Inby Park on the tee at 14.
Using the 7-iron, and this being the friendly bunch of caddies that they are, they all were kind of peering in each other's bag, trying to figure out what clubs they were using. Good looking shot.
Yeah, but even that's going to carry back.
Yeah, so the 7-iron versus the 5-iron, you were right on saying you were afraid that was a little much, Karen.
So we're talking about that race to the CME Globe and all the different subplots that are on the line, one of which is the Rolex Player of the Year. If it ended right now, Inby Park sharing 3rd place. See at the bottom of the screen, 9 points for 3rd. So it would be just 3 separating those two. It's been a second-half charge that has put her in a position to challenge Stacey Lewis for those Player of the Year honors.
Make no mistake how important that is.
Second place would get her to 229. They'd share that top honors going to the final event.
Yeah, Christina Kim with that birdie putt. This at the 13th hole, the par 4.
Just slightly uphill, maybe turning a little left. That's nothing more than a guess, really. When she leans down to read these putts, though, she looks at the ground for a while and then pulls her head up to look at it. Obviously deep in thought, focus, and concentration today.
Had a great angle there, just caught enough of the right side, and Christina Kim to 16 under par.
Just stand still, please.
A monumental day for Christina Kim, who's had her struggles. Terry and Judy talking about those a little earlier. She has battled back a couple of years ago, had to return to the qualifying school. Finished outside of the top 60 for the first time in her career. That was in 2012. She was 110th on the money list. Consistent she was in the early days. Now Shen Feng for a par.
Not much to it, just about a 2-footer, but it's going to give it her full attention on Poana greens late in the afternoon.
Okay.
No, still got a chance. And she's a proven winner. Already won victory in 2014. She'll be defending her title next week at the CME Group Tour Championship.
Saw that tee shot at 14, the par 3 go through the green, and this is what Alejandra Munoz is left with.
She is on an upslope, fairly decent lie, lots of greens to work with, but it is downhill.
We are right in the heart of the city, just outside these walls here. Much different world, busy cars, motorcycles, sirens throughout the day. Active part.
And I've got to say, that's released down the hill very well. I did not think it was even going to get halfway when she hit it.
Well, it landed on the fringe. I think had it, carried 1 foot farther, it would have been a very, very good shot.
Speaking of the setting here in the golf course, our course setup on the Golf Course Superintendents Association of America, almost 6,700 yards, but it is very high up, 7,400 feet in elevation.
Players making an adjustment of about 10% with that elevation. The kikuyu grass has caused a few problems, but mostly it gives you a great lie when you keep the ball in the fairway. The ball tends to sit up. That stimp meter 11.5 doesn't completely indicate how long a putt can roll out on these greens. They are very quick.
Tree-lined, beautiful golf course here. Right, Inby Park also went a little bit long, but still right on the edge.
You can see where the wind just picked up every once in a while because there's a lot of leaves on this green now. Inby's been putting her left hand on her right shoulder a fair amount today just to try and get the alignment correct.
Well, it worked.
Yeah, Karen, I've had the feeling watching that this week that maybe she thought her shoulders had gotten a little open, and getting her shoulders more square was, bringing the putter back, which wasn't there in this same form or fashion early in the season.
Well, exactly. And I also feel like sometimes when you do that, it's a good reminder to make sure that they rock back and forth as opposed to around a little bit too. Helps keep the putter square.
And be looking for a 9th top 10 finish in a row since the Women's British Open back in July. And as we said, chasing down Stacey Lewis for Player of the Year honors. And it is something that's important to her.
I play really well at the end of the season here, so I'm very confident with my game right now, and I haven't probably played as good as last year, but I definitely played more consistent than last year, so I'm very happy with that. Last year, I was leading in money list, I was leading in Player of the Year race, and I'm definitely in the opposite position right now, and I actually like this position better. I mean, because I felt more pressured last year when I was leading, but this year I felt a lot more relaxed, and if I catch it, it's good, but if not, I'll give my best try.
Comes right down to the final event for a number of different things. Player of the Year honors. Obviously, NB is #1 in the world, the Rolex rankings, and Stacey Lewis #2. But the race to the CME Globe, the $1 million, the Vera Trophy, the scoring, everything.
And the money wouldn't, in a way, be an issue for either of these players, but there is just something about whomever you are and whatever your bank account is, playing for $1 million.
Yeah. This to save par for Atahara Munoz.
And the thing to watch out for with Arthur is how she follows through. That was what went wrong yesterday, so if she can follow through and release the putter head to the hole.
Just missed one of a similar length. And that one was right as well. 3 bogeys in the last 5 holes for Munoz.
It's very hard to detect, but if you are watching closely, it was a little bit of a wipe. It was a little bit of a stroke that gives the ball ever so slightly spin to the right. So instead of actually releasing the putter like Karen has talked about, she actually puts a little left to right spin on the putt with that particular stroke.
This is no gimme, is it?
No, this has got a little bit left in it, and it always plays with your mind after you missed one not that much longer to start with. And Judy, you really hit the nail on the head when you said, how well and how low her score could have been if she'd made all those putts.
She has been so close to playing absolutely superb golf this week.
You know who just cheered, though? Kari Webb. Although she's too classy to actually cheer. She's #9 on the list.
Now, you may have to really have an eye for it, but she put that tiny bit of spin on that putt that didn't allow it just to hang on to a straight roll.
Munoz playing herself out of that top 9 in the CME race as Christina Kim was waiting that entire time, and now she's getting ready to go. And she's worked on that pre-shot routine. She said it dates back to the Women's British Open, top of her backswing, and there was a swarm of bees, which really startled her. And since then has been going time and again with that, but she has really cut that down.
And she said it was embarrassing what she was going through before. That's a 6-iron. It's headed right. It's going to miss the green.
And we'll have to wait to see what kind of lie she has there.
The pressure's on. She's coming down to the last few holes of the golf tournament. She's been so good, and it would mean so much to her. You can't help but getting a little tighter.
Up at 18, Stacey Lewis for birdie to at least finish up on a positive note. Been that kind of week. And Tom, you brought up in hindsight whether or not she should have played, feeling under the weather, coming back from Asia. Give her a lot of credit, or at least I do, because in that second round when she was really struggling, some said, you know what, you ought to just DQ. Go ahead, withdraw. And she did. She kept on playing through the 4 days.
Yeah, I think she's only done it once. She withdrawn. That was in Canada a couple of years ago. She was just completely spent. NB Park at the 15th.
Oh, and this one's going left, Tom.
Oh, it's quite a tight hole, Karen, and she could have some tree trouble.
Yeah, I mean, you want to keep it down the left side, but not that far left.
Back to the tee at the 14th.
Final group with Shen Feng getting set.
Big opportunity here with Christina missing the green. Shen with the 6-iron as well. Said yesterday, Terry, and Judy, that her goal is to end the season with 3 wins. She has 1. This tournament included, only 2 left.
Well, she's vying for it.
Yes, she is. Center of the green.
That's a green that just won't hold those tee shots. Could be a pivotal hole here. 14 for Christina Kim, her second from the bunker.
Only 36% of the time has she gotten it up and down out of the sand this year. 125th ranked on the LPGA Tour, and this one's not easy. Fluffy sand, short-sided, firm green.
Caught a lot of golf ball. And that will be left for par. Christina, who's number 76 in the Rolex rankings, 43rd on the money list, getting her in here, though.
Yeah, that bunker shot would be a little bit more what we call a blast or explosion rather than a nice stroke where you just splash the ball out of the bunker with that shortest shot, and it lands somewhat gently.
Be Park a little left off the tee at the 15th.
140, mate, is your landing number.
Great advice there from Brad, wanting to land it at 140 using a 6-iron. She cannot go at the hole, has to aim right of the green by maybe some 10 yards. We'll try and draw it back or hit a low one under the trees. She went low, just caught a hair of a limb.
Parker dropped a shot at 13th, bounced back at 14, now struggling for par at 15 as we go up to the closing hole.
Saw the birdie miss from Stacey Lewis, this to save par. She will have a big week ahead of her next week to run golf club in Naples for the CME Tour Championship. She and Inbee Park will be the top 2 seeds there and control their own destiny to win $1 million. Christina Kim, a long way to go for par at 14.
Checking her notes from the practice round to see what she thinks this putt does. It might be ever so slightly downhill, but overall a very flat green. And Judy, she's went to the well, gone to the well a number of times this week with some lengthy par putts. They're getting more important now.
Yeah, it's like I said at the tee box, things start to tighten up, and I think when you lose a shot to the right like that, a lot of times your lower body's a little tighter. You're just not quite as fluid through the shot. And when you talk about nerves, I always thought that they're just a little more present in the short game and with the putter. If you have great nerves with the putter under pressure, you're ahead of some people for sure.
Well, one thing that would go through a lot of people's minds on this putt, this is no gimme 2 putt with the speed of these greens, well over 11 and a half. She might have already conceded bogey in her mind and just hope for a stress-free one at that. Give it a chance. If it drops, it drops.
I think that'd be a smart way to be thinking, Jerry.
Nearly perfect.
Incredible touch.
Great speed. You limit the damage there. And have 4 holes left to protect your lead. Okay. So the tee shot hurting her in the bunker, but then Able to two-putt from that length, but the lead does dwindle.
Second shot for Munoz at the 15th.
144 yards off of a slight downhill lie using an 8-iron.
And maybe a little bigger bounce than she wanted for the first bounce, but a good chance for a birdie. Munoz needs a few birdies coming home if she's going to sneak inside that top 9. She needs to finish 4th, which right now is 9 under par. Munoz at 7 under. If she can finish 4th, she will move to 9th in the standings. She'll knock Kari Webb out of the top 9. Any player inside the top 9 can win the $1 million next week, but the top 3 players heading into next week control their own destiny. If one of those top 3 wins, they will collect $1 million.
Could have a two-shot swing. Fung for birdie.
She gave up on it early. Must have just missed her line.
And well outside the line. Tap in par though, and Chen Fung back within 2.
So just try to keep it to the right.
Inby Park now with a 3rd at the 15th.
Awkward little number from 43 yards. Coming out low. Wow, that just checked up from that fringe, but I think if it lands another yard on the green, it rolls up to the hole.
Not looking likely at the moment that Inby Park will finish inside the top 2, which would tie her at the top of the Rolex Player of the Year race. Final round of the Lorena Ochoa Invitation. Back at the 15th hole, Althahara Munoz for a birdie, and she needs some.
This one is downhill, though, will break a little bit to the left.
Needs a bit more pace. Well, it's getting close for Munoz. She needs to get inside the top 4. Needs 2 birdies at the moment. Been a good year for Arthur. 1 win on the Ladies European Tour. Finished 2nd on the LPGA. Back on the tee, Chen Fung.
And even though it's a straightaway hole, Judy, it's somewhat of an intimidating tee shot because the trees just seem to close in on you the further you hit it. You want left center, ideally.
Yeah, if we could paint a picture of what these holes look like when you're standing on the tee. They're somewhat narrow fairways, tree lined, but they're even a little bit more narrow because of overhanging trees in a lot of places.
And that might be obstructed on her approach to the green from the right rough.
Now, Christina Kim.
There was a time when this takeaway took 11 or 12 efforts, but she has worked it down to this, and she's swinging the club well.
It's more of just a pre-shot routine now as opposed to a kind of phobia. This is left, though.
Over where Inby Park was with her tee shot. We saw Inby clip the branches with her 2nd shot. And it led to this one for par.
From 25 foot straight up the hill.
She managed, oh my goodness. Well, that wasn't going anywhere else. Right in the middle of the Inby Park. She sneaks away with a 4. No trouble whatsoever.
She says she doesn't have low blood pressure, but what do you think?
Well, she says that she doesn't. She feels all the emotions that you would think she feels. She just doesn't show them. But my goodness, she looks so calm out there. Suzanne Pedersen should have the length to get home in 2 at the 17th.
Looks like she has a pretty lofted fairway metal.
So I'm heading left. Oh my! It certainly had a bit of topspin on it.
Great break.
Suzanne, as Terry mentioned earlier this week, working with Butch Harmon now. Switch coaches, having worked with Ledbetter and Sean Hogan. That must have just pitched in the perfect spot in the bunker there to get some topspin. You don't see the ball coming out that quick very often. Still going to have a lengthy putt though at the 17th. There are a lot of players who struggled on that 17th green. We'll go back to 16.
Brittany Lincecum, lengthy birdie putt. 6 off the lead, but sharing 4th place. Back on our Golf Channel coverage of the LPGA Tour. Coming down to the wire, second to last event of the season. And for the 7th straight week outside the United States, we're in Mexico, capital city, for the Lorena Ochoa Invitational, presented by Banamex. Blue skies, sunshine, temperatures in the low 70s for this final round. Quite a story shaping up, too. If Christina Kim can hold on to win for the first time in 9 years, she is up by 2.
Yeah, she's had battles with depression. She's struggled away from the game, and now in a great position to win for the 3rd time on tour. Can she hold on coming down the stretch, Jerry?
Are we?
Sorry.
She looked miffed when TJ pulled her off the shot, and I believe she had a yardage for the wrong hole. As it is, 154 yards, one of the rare lies this week in the rough that is not sitting up. She has to get a little right to left spin on it and hit low. Not easy to do. Oh man, it's just missed the tree.
Oh, huge bounce. Inby Park tried to go under the trees. Christina Kim went over. Both players, well, not having birdie chances, but Inby the worst of the two. Now Shen Feng over on the right side.
Yeah, best you could do is pretty much left center, left edge of the green if she doesn't get it to bend right, but the lie is pretty clean, only 147 yards. She might be able to get it to bend a bit. But getting that ball to move sideways is not her specialty. She hits everything almost dead straight. This is an 8-iron. That makes it even more difficult to try and fade it.
Took an awkward bounce there, Jerry.
Yeah, well, there's so much slope. The green basically repels the shots left and right.
Left side of the green, just off the edge.
Kick left, huh?
Yeah, kick left.
Jump up 1 to 16 a moment ago on the tee in B Park.
Inby's only using a 9-iron here. There's a 169-yard hole. This one a little right, needs a good bounce.
I'm going to have to hope that that is a very strong 9-iron.
Last couple of decades have been exciting ones in golf. Now Golf Channel, in a commemorative hardbound edition, chronicles the shots, the icons, and the trends that will influence the game for decades to come. Order this historical volume today at golfchannel.com/thegolfbook. All right, so Shen Feng with that round of 4 under, making a move, putting pressure on Christina Kim, who started the day with the largest final round lead of the year out here in the LPGA. She was up by 5 in B Park. Chance to make a couple of birdies coming in and perhaps get to second place and tie Stacey Lewis for Player of the Year. That race, the numbers there. 36 players starting the week, the top 5 in the Rolex rankings, and then the next best available from the money list. So you've got the best players out on tour for the most part here playing for Lorena Ochoa, and so many of them talking about Lorena Ochoa, what an influence she has been. Tough week for Julie Inkster and Natalie Galbus.
Yeah, Suzanne Pedersen has a chance for an eagle here at the 17th.
Slower putt up the hill, but you don't want to run it too far by.
Anna Norquist made an eagle here earlier today in her round of 69. She's finished at 3 under. It's tied for 13th alongside Michelle Wee, who has a couple of holes to play. Michelle playing alongside Suzanne. Third member of this group is Lexi Thompson. Sometimes a little dangerous to listen to Suzanne Pedersen's reaction, but not too bad there.
That's why we do it on tape.
Yeah, well behaved.
Back at 16 on the green, Alvaro Munoz for birdie.
Now, Arthur hit a 7-iron here, so Judy, to your point, being a strong 9-iron for Imbi, absolutely. She tends to hit at least one club less than most players. And that is primarily because of the loft. Now, this putt for Arthur is downhill. We'll have to be very aware of the speed.
Hasn't been an easy stretch, has it?
Chen Feng from just off the green at 15.
And a pitch and run, even though it's twice the length, this is a far easier shot than the one facing Christina Kim.
And it shows this could be a huge swing in momentum at the top of the leaderboard. Chen Feng chipping in for birdie, and she moves to 14 under, just one behind.
Well, and I've been talking about pressure. Playing alongside Christina, this has just tightened everything up.
This was just perfection, wasn't it, Jerry?
By definition, and executed just how she wanted, making it only a bonus.
Now, what does Christina Kim face here?
Well, this hole says it's got 3 paces from the right edge of the green. Those are 3 very, very small paces. No green with which to work. Decent enough lie to get the club on the back of the ball cleanly, but that's not a guarantee because there's always just such a strong grass. And if you land it in the fringe, it can do all kinds of things. There's a lot that can go right here, and I don't think it's a long enough shot to land on the green.
Around the green, chipping shots like that, the waggles seem to be accentuated, and there seem to be a few more in there, which might be an indication of the nerves.
Well, Christina has a quick tempo in her golf game anyway. I think the tendency now would be to get a little quicker. These last few holes, I think that's why she was just a little left off the tee, a little quicker change of directions. But quick is never a good thing around the greens because you're looking for a stroke, much like the bunker shot that she played at the par 3. You're looking for that stroke. You're not looking for quick and speed and a hit.
So if Christina Kim fails to make this, they'll be tied at the top. There are a few people out there who would like to see it go in. Jerry, was she disturbed there? She made a comment as though she might have been disturbed.
I didn't hear the comment, but nothing. There was no distraction that I heard or saw.
I thought she said, "Let me know when you guys are done." I haven't heard that correctly. And now, Chen Feng, Christina Kim tied at the top, and this has suddenly become very, very interesting.
Whole tournament in the final day has changed that one hole. Inbeat Park for par at 16.
Yeah, her putt from 12 foot just slid by, but no problem on that return for Imbi. I think the interesting thing, Judy, with Imbi's swing, you talk about nerves. Imbi's backswing is incredibly slow, and I always think that when that slower backswing, you have an awful lot of time to think. So I think that's testament to Imbi's strength of mental ability.
No, she has that okay.
That she does.
Alvaro Munoz did make her par. She still is at 7 under, sharing 7th place as we take you to 17.
Whitney Lincecum certainly has the length to get home in 2 at the 17th. She hasn't made a birdie here this week, made par here first 3 rounds.
Really played some great golf since August. She's won well over $700,000 on the tour this year.
Oh gosh, that means this is but that's like
Brittany tends to play her best golf when she's laughing and smiling and chatting away with her caddy. It's been a good week so far, tied for 4th. Get up and down, get to 10 under par, and the final group head to the 16th tee.
After a hole in which everything has changed, and Christina Kim, having not made a bogey on the back 9 throughout the week, comes off back-to-back bogeys. So 14 under the total right now. Shen Feng having caught and tied Christina Kim. That's a major champ there. Trying to win for the 2nd time this year, a win in Malaysia. Now, for Kim, you know, mindset-wise, too, you knew it wouldn't be easy. It's after the struggle, the last decade, what it's been like for her, anything she was going to accomplish wasn't going to be just handed to her. She's got to really work for it now.
For the best players, playing with a big lead is not easy. You're trying to figure out exactly how to negotiate it. You want to still play well. You don't want to play defensively. But it's probably a fluid thing all through the day, because she's had it well in hand, and now suddenly just bang, you don't have it well in hand, and you are just like starting from ground zero playing this player match play.
Maybe between the last green and this tee, you've got to change that mindset too and collect your thoughts. Shen Feng, the co-leader now, here ready to go. Birdie, par, the first 3 days at 16.
And this is a 7-iron. You can maybe feel just a hint of breeze into the players, not much at all. A very promising line.
Well, she stayed in that shot beautifully.
Shen second in the field this week in greens and regulation, over 85%, though that carried through the green. Look at the last 4 starts after the win in Malaysia. 3 of the 4 top 10 finishes for Feng, the 25-year-old.
Now, she seems to have found her stride, and now she's coming to the end of the season, and she wants to hurry if she's going to win those 3 in the 2014 season.
Yeah, you could kind of chuckle when she said that, but now, I mean, it's possible. 3 holes left here and sharing the lead. Who knows? To 17.
B Park on the tee.
Got to keep this drive as close to those trees on the right-hand side. This one's roaring. You want to be as far right as you can to have a chance at this green in 2, but this one may be just a smidge too far left. We will see.
Moment to tell you, David Faherty heading to Sea Island, Georgia to talk to Zach Johnson, see how he won the Masters after being a mini tour grinder. And all new Faherty Tuesday, November 25th at 10 o'clock Eastern on Golf Channel. Welcome to the tee at 16 for Christina Kim, who talked about how much she loves this part of the world, one of her favorite places, and she said the fans have been terrific to her. You know, she's been open, and we mentioned the depression. You know, in the old days, maybe people thought about it as being down or blue, as they used to call it. Much more serious than that, obviously, but a major depressive disorder that she went through, and the National Institute of Mental Health saying there's almost 15 million Americans who deal with that, or almost 7% of the American population, and hopefully more and more help and maybe more and more awareness being given to that.
I think we all know someone.
Yep. Birdie, par, first 3 days here at 16 for Kim.
Took a moment to gather her thoughts, take a break before getting to the tee. I can tell you that one of our cameramen heard a still photographer take a picture during her stroke on the previous hole. That's what the distraction was. About 15, 20 feet left of the hole.
But she stopped it, so it's a good shot, Jerry.
It's what most have not been able to do on that green. Coming down the stretch, 16, 17, 18, and they are tied at the top. Advantage Kim here, but you never know after what happened at 15. Shen Feng from off the green.
Very well done. That ball was lying dead into the green. Could have made her look very foolish, but caught it cleanly and a stress-free par.
Been a good year, too. Besides the win, 11 top 10s for Shen Feng. Up around the lead quite a bit. Up at 18, Lexi Thompson, her second. Missed the fairway left. Doesn't matter.
Back left hole location, and that is just about as good as you can do. You would love to keep it just underneath the hole.
How about this scorecard? What the heck was going on the opening 9? Yeah, that's a double eagle. That's an albatross at 2, the par 5. From 129 yards, a wedge on a par 5.
Albeit it is a short par 5 the way it's playing, 453 yards, but still astounding.
Still.
This is Lydia Ko for a birdie at the 17th. Gets Lydia back to 4 under. Still 1 over for the day. Currently tied for 10th. Lydia, who was in the mix here for the first few days, but has fallen back today. Let's go to the 16th.
The third member of this group, the final group, So Yun Yu for a long birdie.
We got really unfortunate with the tee shot, hit the front edge and stopped dead.
Coming off a birdie at 15 to get it back to 9 under.
We saw Brittany Lindstrom go long at the 17th with her second. Chip down to here. This for a birdie. Another good week for Brittany Lindstrom, who struggled with injury in the last few weeks. She had an ulcer of the esophagus. Very nasty. It was a lot of pain. Had to get treatment for that, but she's okay now.
Okay, back at 16. Big moment, perhaps, for Christina Kim with a birdie try coming up.
Big opportunity, to say the least. This one a little speedy, slightly downhill, should move a little bit to the right. Can't even imagine what's going through her mind right now, much less all week long, and especially last night, Judy, after everything she has battled through.
Well, she needs to channel a bunch of putts this length that she has made this week.
Sole possession once again. And what a statement.
You know, you can't have been through everything that Christina Kim's been through and not have some courage. And it takes some courage to make that come about, to perform when you absolutely have to.
Always one of the most colorful players out on tour, outspoken, emotional. Shen Feng to save par. And the lead is 1 for Christina Kim. With 2 holes to play, Kim trying to win for the first time in almost a decade.
I talk about her being an all-in kind of person. At one point mid-career, she decided she was going to lose weight. And not like most people did it. She was running 9 miles a day. Said she had to slow up just a little bit on the days she played.
Up at 18, Suzanne Pedersen. This would be a birdie.
Now here's why it's a crazy game. The other day she hit it exactly 2 feet from the hole at 18 and left with a par.
That 66 got her excited in round 2. Everybody else thinking, well, she's right there. Maybe she's going to win in 2014, but good way to finish. 17.
And Inby Park, Karen, you mentioned being over on the left. She's going to have to work the ball around the trees.
Using a 5-wood, Tom.
And she's done pretty well, but it's going to have a very long putt. Look how much green that she has to cover.
I'd still rather be there, though, than pitching the ball, wouldn't you? Maybe not.
It depends how you feel with the long putts, I suppose.
Yeah, they're on the start of the upslope. Yeah.
Now back on the tee, Christina Kim. She was so successful early in her career. She almost won the Player of the Year on the Symetra Tour in 02. Was pipped by Lorena Ochoa, then came out on the LPGA, won a couple of times as a young lady, and then sort of lost her way. But what an opportunity she has now, Jerry. 2 to play.
That was impressive stuff on the previous hole. This is a nice looking drive up the left center, but it's playing into a pretty good breeze at the moment. Going to make it a lot more difficult to get home in 2.
Meanwhile, at 18, Lexi Thompson to finish with a birdie. To start the week, there was a chance that Lexi could move into the top 9 overall, but never really pressed the top of the leaderboard. But she'll be there next week in Naples.
Now, Shen Feng on the tee.
I don't think Shen has a length to consider going forward into. 40th ranked in distance this year. Well, actually averaging more than Christina Kim, but Christina Kim, remember, lost a lot of distance due to injury during those years where she was plagued by the battle with depression as well. 27 yards to be exact. Starting to get it back now. Shen, though, just as repetitive as can be. Straight away, didn't move an inch.
Well, I'd never been to Mexico City before this week. Didn't quite know what to expect, and I've been thoroughly well entertained here. Had a good week. It's been a lot of fun. Had some good meals and good times. Inby Park with a long putt at the 17th for eagle. This is pretty good. Well, you called it, Judy.
Well, you'd a lot rather be on that putting surface, particularly if you're in B Park.
All right, up at 18, Lydia Ko finishing up. This her second. Good to know Tom's had a good time here. Been entertained.
I've noticed Tom has had a good time here.
Wasn't sure.
We've had some good meals. We've been to some nice restaurants.
It's never a dull moment here. It's an immensely interesting part of the world.
You never know what to expect here. Ever-changing city. A lot of fun. Now, Azahara Munoz says she feels at home coming here because obviously it's a Spanish-speaking country and coming from the south of Spain makes life a little easier.
Arthur had a bad lie in the rough off the tee. Just had to lay up. Hit a wedge to here. This putt is back up the hill, breaking to her left. And it looked like she read it there. It looked like she just started it left right from the start.
It's a bustling city. They have something like 4 million cars, and I found out yesterday that 1 day a week you're not allowed to drive depending on your license plate. Which I didn't know. Shen Feng now. This is an important shot, but she looks like she might be laying up considering they're on the green.
Yes, she is. 274 all the way to the hole. Some 34 yards behind Christina Kim.
Is that going to be okay?
There is a bunker. Okay.
Not the best layup. So a mistake there for Shen Feng, who's one behind Christina Kim. Kim in good position off the tee. Let's go to 18.
Brittany Lincecum's third. Wayward drive. She drove it left, had a play to here. One place you don't want to drive it here at 18. Elevated tee. And it will stay. Normally the troubles start on the green here at 18. It's not a long hole. Par 4 that plays about 351. Some tricky reads up on the green though.
Got to be the green light here for Christina Kim, Jerry.
Yeah, 209 front, 240 exactly, all the way back to today's hole location, up the Sizewell Hill into a pretty decent breeze. We are at altitude, but I think that breeze in that hill is going to counteract most of it.
It's a really good one here. Could be the golf tournament sealed. Makes an eagle.
One of the keys is hit it straight.
I don't know. Yeah, that's fine. I don't know.
Oh, it sneaks by, and it's going to be really good. It's going to be really, really good. Wow, chance for an eagle coming up.
Boy, a huge shot right there, and what was a big shot was her tee shot. She placed it perfectly, and it was long.
So Christina Kim with a one-shot lead and the chance for eagle at 17.
Some pretty good drama the last couple of holes. Christina Kim seeing Shen Feng tie her at 14 under, coming back with a huge putt, and then what a second shot at the par 5 17th. Up on the green at 18, Lydia Ko. So way to finish. A couple of rounds in the 60s to start with a 74 doing her in yesterday. 17-year-old rookie of the year done for the week. Back to that final group.
Well, Shen Feng, we saw her lie before the break, Jerry, and it didn't look very good in the rough there.
No, it's not. Nestled down a little bit in the Kikuyu on a severe uphill slope to a back hole location. That is never going to be an easy shot. 67 yards all the way home. And the pressure severely on to going up there in makeable birdie range.
It looks like Christina Kim's going to make the birdie. She has a two-putt birdie chance, maybe even an eagle. Never quite know what's going to happen, but Shen needs to try and birdie this one.
50 down. So that's just at the top. Yeah, 50 down is the top of the ridge. Yeah. 50 down in total is 67.
So we can land maybe 58?
Yeah.
Go straight?
Yeah, go straight at it.
That's pretty good. Pretty darn good right there. Christina Kim was actually rooting for it to get closer, waving it to the right.
Shen Feng, a winner a few weeks ago during the Asian swing. LPGA Tour played 6 weeks in Asia, and only 15 players played all 6 of those. Christina Kim was one of those players. 3 of them came here. Christina Kim making it 7 weeks in a row. She will play next week. 8 weeks in a row to finish the year in 7 different countries. They played a couple in China.
She grew up in Northern California. Her mom and dad greatly supporting her playing golf, and her dad, Man Kim, at least to my knowledge, is the only real teacher that Christina's ever had, other than her dad, Man. She's kind of self-taught. She goes out and tries to work things out for herself.
This could be a little bit of a double breaker here. Going to go left early, definitely. Might start to wiggle back right at the end. I'm not sure, but it does start heading downhill just as it nears the hole, just slightly.
For an eagle. That one left for a birdie. There's a one-shot lead over Shen Feng, who has that birdie chance coming up. How close this game. Give it to me, she says.
Been big to make that one, but it sure would have been nice to nestle it up close.
Mentioned she had to go back to the Q school in 2012. I was there, and she was with her father. She'd really lost her way and didn't know what the future would hold for her. She had problems with depression and things going on away from the course. She's turned it around.
Up at 18, Brittany Lincecum to save par. So instead of fourth place by herself, drops into a share of fourth place with So Yeon Yu at 9 under. Good weekend, though. Rounds in the 60s. 17.
Yeah, third member of the final group, So Yeon Yu, is for a birdie. Just 1 under for the day. Still inside the top 5. It's been a good week for So Yeon Yu. And she'll take some confidence into next week. Certainly a player that will get it done. 3 times a winner on the LPGA Tour, including a major championship.
There's only 3 players this year with more top 10 finishes than So Yeon, and they're pretty impressive players. NB, Stacey Lewis, and Michelle Wee.
Has a chance at the million. Chen Fang now. Well, you never know what could happen here, Jerry. If this goes in, she ties the lead briefly. Christina Kim will still have that short birdie putt.
And I didn't see much to this putt either. Didn't get a great look at it, however, but didn't see much to it at all. Doesn't take much, however, on greens at this pace to miss the hole.
Almost like a match play situation, this.
Very much so. Even So Yeon Yu said, "Oh, what a match. I'm enjoying watching it."
Christina Kim's had a few good matches in the Solheim Cup over the years. Just enough. Great up and down for Chen Fang. She moves to 15 under par and tied at the top once again. But Christina Kim has that short birdie putt to regain the 1-shot lead. But it just got a little bit longer.
Man, it's not an easy read. The putt, the overall train of the screen, you'd think this putt would be right center, right edge. So Yeon Yu's putt from the opposite side of the hole fell that way. But when this ball ran past the hole, it actually broke to the left side of the green to make you think it could go right from here. It's just a really baffling read, but she has ridden them better than anybody this week.
Just to go 1 shot ahead with 1 to play. Got it. How important that could be. Christina Kim may only be 1 hole away from her first victory in 9 years. You have to go back to November 2005. She's had to earn it on this Sunday in Mexico City. Chen Fang makes the birdie. Christina Kim responds. To the 72nd hole we go.
1-shot lead with 1 to play. Christina Kim just a moment ago off the tee at 18.
Just a hybrid, and for the 3rd straight day, starts it right.
Yeah, going to catch that intermediate cut of rough. Sitting up, though, Chen Fang trailing by 1.
A little left, needs to carry to get to the biggest part of the fairway, and it does. Well,
oh yeah. Yeah, it just rolls off, but you can count that.
Left-hand hole location, though, I can't tell with trees if she could have a little issue.
We'll see that angle in a moment. Up ahead, Alejandra Munoz from off the green to get it to 8 under par. Not going to be enough. So this is a player who's going to be really angry with herself. The second night today, 3 bogeys and a birdie on the back 9 when she was in a position to be in the top 9 in the CME race.
I'm going to bet you she doesn't want to see over a green for a long time, because she's been over 4 that I can think of off the top of my head.
And Kari Webb is safe in that top 9 right now overall. It'd be Park for birdie. Similar line, almost the same. Had it red, just didn't get it there.
Yeah, Inby had to move her marker so that Arthur could putt hers down.
So Inby Park not going to finish up in second. Not going to catch Stacey Lewis in the Player of the Year race, but right behind. She's going to be a few points behind as they come down to that final event next week. And remember, Inby is the #1 player in the world in the Rolex rankings.
She's just inching her way over close to Stacey, isn't she, Terry?
68 after the 69 yesterday. It's going to be a heck of a week in Naples. Coming down to that final event, and we are down to that final group. Christina Kim, 9 years. Back at 18, Christina Kim trying to figure out what she's about to do with her second shot.
Take your time.
147 yards. Great lie in that intermediate cutter rough. Into a breeze from the right. Don't go long. And this is, or has been, the firmest green all week.
Yeah, an ideal place. The best putt at this hole is just short, just right of the hole.
Very aggressive line left of the hole.
Didn't get the kick. It's okay, but some work left.
Well, short-sighted. It looks like a very good lie, but Jerry will get to see it.
Well, still advantage to Christina with the one-shot lead especially, but Shen Feng will have to pull off a miracle just to get it on the putting surface.
So Yun Yu will be first here, and there is a bit of a breeze the last hour and a half or so. First breeze of the week, really, that we've seen here.
Got this shot right at 130 yards for the elegant golf swing of So Yun Yu. Should be a wedge.
Talk about balance with Christina Kim. This might be the most balanced player on the tour these days.
Physically and mentally, Judy.
Yeah.
In Canada, second half of the season, and now it comes down to this. Boy, from this vantage point, those trees certainly in play. How much, Jerry?
Yeah, they're just stymieing her from the.
No, that's okay.
Maybe we're at that to be short on long.
Well, actually, if you want to go anywhere, I would go try to get back here. Okay.
Her only shot is to keep it low, go between them. Right center of the green would be the best she can do, 115 yards. Can't really turn the ball enough to try and get it anywhere near the hole from this shot. Be very, very fortunate to get it on the green. And it's a tight little area she has to hit it through. She's the one player who can hit it almost every time exactly where she aims, though.
And so the risk here is if she plays the really good shot, does it stop?
Didn't touch a thing. That's going to be hot. Oh, my.
Past the green, but it did stop right there. She's been relentless on this back nine. 4 birdies, no bogeys, within 1. Lorena Ochoa, future Hall of Famer, and the tournament host. Lilia, who's only 1. And Lorena watching a player who's been a good friend for a long time, back before they even got to the LPGA Tour. Christina Kim. They have a lot of history together. She's been an inspiration to Kim. Work is not done, though. Shen Feng from just off the green, her third.
She might just need to hold this. Christina's shot is not difficult at all. This one is, however. It's going to curl left. It's pretty quick.
And she just won't give in. She has applied the pressure and held it right there throughout the back nine.
And this is the kind of pressure that can only be applied in a great way when you're playing alongside the competition. The scoreboard's one thing, but when you're watching it unfold.
And Kim now from off the green. So Yun Yu there on the green. And Christina got to get up and down.
Ball setting up like it's on a brand new indoor driving mat, if you will, into the terrain. Has to fly it about halfway there.
Not taking any time at all here, Jer.
No, not a hard shot in most circumstances. Set.
It did.
Yeah, that was lucky. That first hop down straight up. She hit it a lot harder than I think she wanted to. And that's not the side of the hole you want it on.
It is just one hard little putt.
Every athlete has a story to tell of how they got from point A to point B and how difficult it has been and it was in the past. And hers, though, a lot of players talk about at some point maybe giving up the game. She almost gave up on life itself. It was that difficult. And just one putt remaining to get back to the top. A lot of good shots, dramatic shots down the stretch, but our shot of the day presented by Volvic. Back at 10. Remember, this came off the bogey at 9 to start the back 9, and that was a statement. But then, remember the birdie at 16, another big statement.
Huge statement. Once again, playing alongside the competition.
So Yin Yu will be first here. Finish with a par, end up at 9 under, and a tie for fourth. She and Brittany Lincecum sharing fourth place behind MB Park. And the two at the top. You've been in this position to have a putt of this length. You dream about those moments, but they're nightmares as well.
Yeah, you know, even though you're putting in a very confident manner all week, this is a whole different story. And it's just actually a tricky little putt.
Heartbroken is the word that comes to mind for many who are watching and cheering for Christina Kim.
And I think it was a nice stroke. The speed was perfect. It just got a little bit high and didn't take that break. And if it was going to take that break, it certainly had the opportunity. The speed was perfect.
So it comes down to this putt. Shen Chen Feng for par to force a playoff.
So maybe 7 weeks in a row wasn't quite enough for Christina.
She just would not go away. And we will have a playoff here at the Lorena Ochoa. 71 for Christina Kim, 1 under, but a 6 under 66 for Shen Chen Feng, and they'll go back to the tee here at 18. Overtime.
You're going back.
A lot of emotions at 18. Try to collect their thoughts and get back here in a moment. Today's coverage is brought to you by Bottomex Tailored Investment Solutions. Bridgestone Golf, now made in America, played everywhere. And by Prudential, official financial services provider of the LPGA. So a playoff for the first time in the history of this event. This is the 7th edition of the Lorena Ochoa Invitational. Christina Kim and Shen Chen Feng working their way back up to this elevated tee here at 18. The ever-present smile on the face of Christina Kim, but you know there's a lot more going on inside.
Well, I can't imagine how much she wants this, but she's taken such a positive attitude about everything lately that my bet is if it doesn't come to be, she'll see it as a big positive.
Chanchan, you have the low round there. I got 2 numbers in there, 1 and 2. You can't take them both, though.
LPGA official Marty Robinson.
Second, all right. Christina, you'll be first. Okay. Then, ladies, we're playing 18. We'll play 18 over continuously until we have a winner. So, Christina, you'll lead us off whenever you're ready. Good luck to you both, ladies.
Yeah, good luck, guys.
Good luck.
Christina Kim 0-1 in playoffs back in the 2010 Marathon Classic. Lost a 4-way playoff that Na-Yeon Choi eventually won, and Chen Feng 0-2. 2011 Mizuno, and more recently in 2012 the HSBC. Check the golf balls, know what you're doing here, and you know exactly what you need to do too. You just got done playing this hole.
You bet.
The breeze not quite as strong as it was in regulation. Still there. Into the players from the right, Judy. But not quite as strong. Right side of the fairway, as we saw from regulation, is ideal. You hit too much club down the left, and where Chen had to make the great par from.
Any fear of the left, you have to lay back a long way.
That's been Christina's game plan all week.
Por favor.
Take your time.
It did.
That's her spot.
Just in the fairway.
Christina Kim, 30 years old. Chen 25.
Christina,
Okay there, right?
born in San Jose.
Yeah, you're fine.
Pressure now on Shan to follow Christina down the fairway. As you said earlier on, Judy, her swing really looks like not much can go wrong.
Yeah, beauty. Sure.
And much better than in regulation when she was left, had to play through the trees, and a remarkable job just getting up and down from behind the green then. So she was up to the challenge presented by Prudential at Chen Feng. Her second at the second. Remember, we came on the air, if you're with us, with this highlight, the par 5. Kind of a sign of things to come throughout the rest of the day.
Short par 5, and you have to take advantage there early in the day, and she really did it.
An eagle there, bogey at 3, birdie at 6, jump all the way ahead. Back 9 is when she really said, you know what, I gotta go. This was the moment that started to turn everything around, put all the pressure on Christina Kim, even though Kim came back and made a birdie putt at 16, this for birdie at 17. Just dying in the hole, barely getting there. Up to the challenge presented by Prudential. 17 of the 20 winners this year have been under the age of 30, as Chen Feng is. So Christina Kim would be just the 4th winner in her 30s this season. So much time to think in this game of golf. Most of the time on the golf course is solitary, and it's just like this. That's not always a good thing. Natalie Galbis along with Lorena Ochoa.
I wonder how many autographs Lorena has signed this week.
Oh my gosh. Visible tournament host. We got our kids out here, Pedro and Julia. Her husband as well. Past champs. Kate Kim, the only one not in the field this week. Lexi Thompson was the defending champion. So U.S. well represented on that list. Pictures and autographs continue for the host, and we tell you Tuesday on Big Break Myrtle Beach, Money Talks, contestants go all in. Chance to win the total pot. Full gamble to win the payoff. New Big Break Myrtle Beach coming your way Tuesday night, 9 o'clock Eastern, only on Golf Channel. Local artist from here in Mexico City area, Jesus Guerrero Santos, creating the trophy. Blue ceramic and symbolizing royalty. All right, figuring out the numbers now. Second time around here at 18 for Kim.
So, Jerry, here's what I think. It is a match play situation. Christina's going to be the first to play. She can change the landscape here for what Shen does by hitting that good shot. There is one advantage to being the shorter one in match play, and that's you play first to the green.
I agree, and she's got a second shot 6 yards closer than in regulation. She is only 7 or 8 yards short of the hole in regulation, so the exact same shot on that same line would be special. 9-iron.
But stay away from the short side. Stay away from the left.
It's got to feel like she has to do much better than she did the first time around.
This is a more conservative line. Center of the green, trying to draw back a bit.
Very conservative. But on the surface, not thrilled.
40 and then. Yeah, I was thinking just over 30 count. But I mean, if it's just below the hole, it's fine. Yeah, like 32. Just a hair on the right. From the left, we have 3. Okay.
Shen also going with a 9-iron. She is so calm in personality. I can't think that this position is phasing her in any way. This one is a little right also.
And it does hold. Terrific shot. And Shen Feng with the advantage in the playoff. Every member of the gallery surrounding the green at 18. Sudden death playoff, Christina Kim and Shen Feng, and Shen certainly with the advantage here. There's a conservative approach from Christina Kim, maybe based on that initial approach where she was left, short-sided herself, but a lengthy birdie effort coming up here, Jared.
Lengthy birdie effort uphill. She's had some magical moments with this club this week, none bigger than this. Spent much of probably the last 9 years wondering if she would ever get this opportunity again.
This second time around at 18, Judy, she has done very little to apply pressure on Shen Feng, though.
No, and you have to say both the second shot and the first putt imply a little bit of nerves, and I don't blame her a bit. She couldn't be in a more tense situation. And actually, Shen kind of turned the tables on her and put the pressure on her.
We talk about Christina Kim with an outgoing personality. Shen Feng the same. She was asked yesterday after her round, you know, you one of the funniest players out here, one of the best personalities. She interrupted and said, no, one of the silliest. She's got a great sense of humor. Similar line to that of her chip the first time around, Karen?
I unfortunately didn't have an opportunity to see it, so you guys in the booth will have a much better idea on what this putt will do. All I know is that it has to be fairly swift from the back of this green.
Yeah, well, it is the line of that chip, and if it gets below the hole early, it can run away where you have a 3 or 4 footer. But if she can keep it up above the hole on the right side early, if the speed's right, it'll take the move.
For the win. tap-in par for Shen Feng. And once again, it will come down to a putt by Christina Kim. That's her reaction.
I can tell you one thing, Terry and Judy, the way Christina has rooted on her fellow competitors, Shen most notably this entire back nine, and including the body language on that putt, this is one classy young lady.
This to stay alive.
Everything on the line and right in the dead center. You have to give her all the credit in the world. Lorena Ochoa back there. Christina first came here to Mexico to play when she was 15 years old in the Mexican Amateur. First time she ever met Lorena.
Back to the elevated tee at 18 once again. Second hole of a sudden death playoff between Christina Kim and Shen Feng. And Judy, well, the emotional swings when you get to this point and the mental games you must have to play with yourself as a player is something else. I mean, if you're Christina Kim, you say, okay, the slate is wiped clean. We start over.
That's right. There's no carryovers in this game. Anything you've done earlier this week doesn't count. What you do right now counts.
Breeze picked up again just a few moments ago.
Okay.
This started off not up the right side, but pretty much the dead center. And on that line goes to the left side, but that's fine.
It's a much different angle from which to play than she's had.
And maybe for a right to left player, a very good angle.
So close to that long birdie putt a few moments ago for Shen Feng. Ooh.
Well, she gave up on it a little bit. It's got to be going left.
Oh, it is left. And quite long is what typically happens when you do hit it left. And oh, she's going to have tree trouble and all kinds of issues, Judy.
They had a bare spot there and right next to the tree. The first time around, she had to play low and through the trees and somehow made par to force the playoff.
It's that thing that we all feel once in a while as we're making our move back to the ball, and we know it's not right. She came over it just a touch, didn't want to finish it because she knew where it was going, lost a lot of speed, and she is in a real jam.
Not a great lie, nothing good about her next one coming up, and Christina Kim maybe in a much better spot than she was the first two times at 18. That is the golf ball of Shen Feng off the tee at 18. Karen, tell us about the lie and the angle now.
Well, I've got to tell you that you know, if I'm standing here looking at potentially going for the shot, you know, I'm right here and you've got a tree here that you're going to potentially catch here. If you want to keep it low under those trees. You've got the bank. Everything's all in the way, a bunker. And really, the only thing I see is potentially maybe just chipping it back out to the fairway, having to make a great play with a wedge.
Well, at first look, you couldn't tell that it would impede with the backswing, but it certainly does.
You know, when you see your ball flying into trouble, every player says to themselves, just give me a swing.
Look at her first look is that option where Karen talked about. Meanwhile, Christina Kim, left center in the fairway, a little bit left of center, near the edge, but well back, Jer.
10 yards further than the first playoff hole, 151 yards. This should be an 8-iron, and now would be a very good time to play it a little conservatively, because Shen is going to have to work mightily to make par. That was steep, but she's prone to do that, drawing in on a good line. Center of the green, however. That's fine. More than fine.
Almost hole high and really a good solid place from which to putt. Given the circumstances just ahead of her, a very smart play.
And this, for Shen Feng, apparently the only play.
Yeah, there was just too much trouble with the tree and everything in her way. This is very smart. I don't actually think Christina Kim even wandered up and had a look where Shan Shan was. She just went ahead and played her shot, Judy.
Well, you wouldn't advise that, but
That might be how she's getting through the pressure of the moment, trying to live in her own moment. And you can't say what's right or wrong, but in match play, of course, an awful lot of people want to know what the other player has done.
so this will be the third coming up for Shan Shan Feng. He's trying to become the 9th multiple winner this season.
And last time was?
Well, 11, so we're 7 yards closer.
No, in total.
35. We're 28 now.
35?
Yeah, 104 to 128.
35, 28 now.
28 now.
So 7 shots are I hit 32 right there.
Yeah.
And 30 is good, so 23. Should be right? Nine?
Yeah.
Caddy is Mercer Leftwich.
I didn't really move it that far back.
It didn't move it a whole lot right to left. No, it did not.
One of the great names out here on tour.
And she's using the same club that she used the first time round. She has to take a little bit off this one, though, because she is closer.
So a little grip down 9-iron, Karen?
Yes. And she's going to be more aggressive, going to go right at it. The wind did not move the first one as much. That's what they talked about, although it's just getting a little gust right now out here.
She knows the line.
But we'll have to make that to make par. And Christina Kim inside of that, little different line for birdie to win it. But as much as this has gone back and forth, going back to regulation from 15, 16, 17 on, you never know what's going to happen.
If you like drama in your golf tournaments, you have to have liked the last hour and a half.
If you're Christina Kim, I think you could use a little less drama at the moment.
And you know, as these people cheer her, I think that's kind of where she's trying to take her life, a little less drama.
And if she ends up winning this, she'll look back and maybe say it was a good thing we went to extra holes. It had been so long since I made that walk, the meaningful walk to 18 as the leader or with a chance to lead. She's gotten to do it 3 times now, over and over again, and be welcomed by the fans here. Shan Shan Feng is saying it's not over yet.
We know this angle.
As we said, she had the first in regulation, the chip shot there, then the putt, which nearly went in. And Christina Kim using that aim point express quite a bit, and has said, Jerry, that it's helped her putting a lot.
And all the people that subscribe to it are big believers in it. It's we've talked about it many times. It's a different way, kind of a glorified plumb bob, maybe a little more scientific, but it's still a way to quantify the feel of the slope that you feel when you walk up and down the line. And that, as Judy and I have mentioned many times, is as old as time, reading it with your feet. But it gives you a place to aim, thus the name, aim point.
And for Shan Shan Feng, knowing most likely this has to go in.
Yeah, yeah, it did. Kind of like the chip. It's going to turn a little more with its pace. Somewhat like right on this line here. Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
The one good thing about this putt is that she knows she can give this a good roll and get it to the hole. There is no fear of the return.
Superb effort.
And this time, the reaction from Christina Kim.
More new life.
And 2 putts for a par and a win. A win back in 2004, another in 2005. A career that includes 3 Solheim Cups and a 3-0-0 record in singles in the Solheim Cup, and it all went away for nearly a decade. And maybe this is the moment where she gets it back, and at least that feeling of what it's like to be on top again. Good friend, knowing that that's about what you needed to do. And a long and troubled journey comes to an end. Christina Kim back on top on the LPGA Tour. What a moment, what a feeling it must be for Christina Kim. And how many times did she imagine this moment? And how many times did she think, I'll never get back there? Michelle, we there to congratulate.
The young man was her boyfriend Duncan. He caddies for Michelle.
Jerry?
Yeah, Terry, Christina, I can't imagine what the emotions are right now. You had to spend many sleepless nights in the last few years wondering if you would ever be here again. Can you describe the sense of pride and the emotions?
No, I'm at a loss for words right now. You know, I've been through a lot. Everyone goes through ebbs and flows in their life, and that has always brought me some comfort knowing that with the downs come the highs. And I mean, this tournament for me is just so important. You know, I mean, I have a long history with Lorena. She's always someone that I've always admired, and I've tried to emulate her the last 4 days, and I hope I did her proud.
2 years ago, there was an article in Golf Digest that documented the demons you have faced throughout your life. You ended it by saying, hopefully I can have a wonderful ending to this chapter and give hope to others. What do you have to say to the nearly 15 million Americans that suffer from what you went through and what you conquered?
Well, just, I don't know. I mean, other than regardless of how low you feel, and just my mother gave me something to think about after I went through what I did. She didn't know about it really until after it came out in the media, and she told me she had such a hard life coming to the States and not knowing any English, and you know, that kind of made me feel ashamed because life has been, in all honesty, so easy for me compared to that. But she said, regardless of how many nights you sleep and no matter how dark the nights are, there's always going to be a beautiful sunrise tomorrow. And that's something that I've been trying to live by. And without her and the support of my father and my family and all of my friends, there's no way I'd be here today.
It was awesome to watch. Does this give you a sense of optimism that the best for Christina Kim is yet to come?
I just turned 30, so life's just started. I'm in my second act. That's the way I see it. But absolutely, you know, it's I don't even know.
It was awesome to watch. Congratulations. Well deserved.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
A lot of fellow players and fans maybe shedding a tear or two right now, too. What a moment.
Quite a moment, and I have to say I'm a little lost for words.
Christina Kim, a winner for the first time in 9 years. Wasn't easy. The third playoff hole, and Shen Shen Feng never let up, relentless. And Shen Shen moves up to 6th in the current race to the CME Globe. Lewis and Park will enter next week. The top two and Lydia Ko in third. They'll control their own destiny. We get underway from the CME Group Tour Championship on Thursday at 1 o'clock. Little Golf Central preview, and then 4 days of coverage with $1 million to the winner of the season-long race. Here, though, all 4 days, wire to wire, extra holes. It was overtime, but Christina Kim wins for the third time on the LPGA Tour. Just the beginning of those emotions being let out as that final putt went in. For Judy Rankin and our crew, I'm Terry Gannon. Been a great week in Mexico City. So long, everybody.
This has been a presentation on the only worldwide network dedicated to the game, Golf Channel, part of NBC Sports.